Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ocean Outlast Expert. I hope that everyone is doing great today. I know that I am. We're jumping right back on into things today. It has actually been some time since I last recorded, but we have a ton of stuff to go over because I took some time off camera and I did some stuff. I got some stuff ready in preparation for this episode. Really just kind of like mindless building, just having fun on that sense. Just getting things together. Nothing that really quantified showing it on camera. It's just typical stuff I would have cut away for anyway. So that's why I did it off camera. Just had a blast and just kicked back and relaxed, I should say. So I'm going to run you through that first before we jump into what we're actually doing today. So first and foremost, we got some centaurs who are hanging out with us now. I didn't do anything to get these guys around us. They just kind of spawned in and they've just been hanging out. They are friendly to us, which is pretty cool. I wonder if they'll attack enemy mobs if they show up. I haven't had that scenario yet, but it'd be cool to see what happens. So next thing, you can obviously tell we extended down this way. Now we have a path that goes over, or a path that goes under our overpass here, our little boardwalk up there. And we are actually sitting a little bit below the water level, which is kind of cool. It gives you a cool view on things, which I really enjoy. I did move our little automation setup for our low-grade charcoal here to its own little spot, which is pretty nice. And then obviously we have our walkway down here. Made this nice big room, which is going to be utilized today. This is actually right underneath our base above, which I did extend a little bit to accommodate for the space that we had available to us. So this is where we're going to set up shop for cooking for Blockheads, probably on just one half of it. It really doesn't take up that much space. So maybe on this half we'll set up our cooking, or maybe on that half. Actually, probably this half would be better because we have some machines over there. And realistically, then this space over here could be used for additional machines as we get to those points when we have them. Now down here, I've obviously extended things a little bit, but I haven't finished anything. I'm thinking on what I want to do with it. I think it'd be kind of cool to have a stairway down and like kind of loop around farther down that eventually leads to some kind of underwater sanctuary of some form or fashion, used for whatever we feel like using it for. So as you can see, when we hop under the water here, you definitely get a better look of what's going on down here, and it's so cool. The underwater life and aesthetics in this mod pack are just awesome. I mean, combined with normal base vanilla, it just really looks cool. And it'd be cool if we had stairway down and then little way out and then had something down here. Now I do want to make a note, as you guys can probably see, there's a ton of gravel down here. All of this stuff down here is gravel. I know it's kind of hard to see on YouTube probably, but I'll try to get in close here. All this stuff is gravel down here. I'm going to move up to the surface here so we have a little bit better view, a little bit more light on our recording here. But yeah, all down there is gravel. So if you're looking for a good source of gravel, I know I've mentioned different places before that you can go and look for them. But really, your best bet, just to head down to the ocean floor. You definitely get a decent amount of breathing right off the bat. As you can see, we have a good couple of seconds of breathing there, at least like 45, I believe. And with vein miner or ore miner, whatever you want to reference it as, it makes mining up gravel super easy, so then you can use it in your sieve, in your sifter, to get more components. So it's a great way to go about getting gravel. Now if we come up here, I can show you around up here. Oh no, we got an enemy. Hold the phone, get inside. So I guess that our centaurs do not attack enemies because this girl is not friendly to us. She will attack us. And she gives us obviously some negative effects, holy smokes, of nausea, which, oof, it's hard to look at. I'm so sorry to all of you watching. That's some dramatic nausea. And so our centaurs do not help us, which is a little bit of a bummer. But yeah, there's not that much that has changed up here other than what I said. So we did extend out our main base up here, and then we have our cows just chilling over here. And then we have our walkway down over to that new island over there that we can utilize. I did take the trees down over there because I do have a plan for that today. So we'll start with that before we jump into our main thing. So I did get a suggestion here on the channel in one of my previous episodes to get some bonsai pots up and going. So let me show you through these. These are very heavily used when you're playing SkyBlocks. Basically, what they do Let me go to the usefulness of this so you can see. You put a piece of dirt in it along with some kind of tree sapling, and it'll produce the outputs that are shown on the side here. So, for example, if we were to put a cherry sapling in this bonsai pot with some dirt, we would get a chance of oak wood, sticks, cherries, oak leaves, and then saplings. And they each have different chance percentages that you can see on each one as you hover over it. Now, obviously, you can use this for a lot of different trees. And you can even actually use it for sugarcane, which is pretty cool. But this is a great way to get a decent amount of output from trees without actually having to take the time to chop them down, which is awesome. That's definitely something that we can save time on. Even though we do get a decent amount of wood from these trees, it's a lot better if we can just automate it in some form or fashion. Now, the base bonsai pot is a manual process. You plant the seed, or you plant the sapling into the dirt, and it will grow, and then you have to manually come back and click on it to collect the output from it. Now, the second tier of it is the hopping bonsai pot. So you have to use a hopper for this, so it does take some iron. So you have to be at least at that stage where you have some iron to spare. And these will automatically export all the drops to an inventory below. So you could have a chest below it, a crate below it, anything that you really wanted to have that would store those items as they, are produced. So I already crafted up a bonsai pot. Like I said, you just need 5 bricks in order to do it, 5 cooked up bricks. And then you just need to take that with the hopper, and you have your hopping bonsai pot. Pretty easy to make, and I'm going to set it up out here. I have a chest put down under this nice big dark oak wood tree here. I'm going to shift and put it right on top of there. We do need a piece of dirt, so let me grab that. I'll put it right there. And then finally our sapling goes in, and as you can see, it gives you a percentage as it grows, and you can see it growing there now. It'll keep growing and growing and growing, and it'll just take its dandy old time. And then once it gets to 100%, it will basically, in a sense, cut it down, and you'll get all the resources, and all of those will be deposited below. Now, I would recommend, if you plan to just kind of let it sit and run for a long period of time, having a decent sized inventory below it, because it will start collecting things relatively quickly. And we actually did get a progression from that. We got an achievement. So we'll check that out in just a second. But let's take a peek at what we got from it. So from our first pass through, all we got was a piece of wood and 1 stick. Now, it doesn't seem like much, but you do have to take into consideration, this is all doing it on its own. You don't have to have power running to it. You don't have to sit here and watch it. It'll just grow, 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 and then cut itself down, and then deposit whatever items you get from it in the chest below. So really, you could be off adventuring, you could be doing something else, and this will just keep producing items for you, especially if you go into your claimed chunks and you have your area chunk loaded, because then this will allow it to keep running. I don't believe it has a built-in chunk loader. I think you have to place it on through that to keep it going. So that's up and going. We might eventually get another one next to it for something different, something that maybe would produce some different kinds of food for us. I don't know what saplings we necessarily have. Yeah, we don't really have one that could really do that for us. It would be awesome if we had like a whatchamacallit, like a apple tree sapling, or like one of those cherry tree saplings. That would be awesome, because then we could get actually cherries from them. But it is what it is for now, and I think it is a good start. So with that being said, we're going to switch gears and we're going to hop into what we are doing today. So as I mentioned in a previous episode, we need to get food production up and going really badly. And I know I said it before, we're getting into cooking for blockheads. That is the goal for today. And it's going to take a little bit of time, because there's a few components that we need to gather together that we don't necessarily have yet. First and foremost, that's the book for it. So cooking for blockheads, book 1. You need to take a book and just cook it in a furnace. Pretty straightforward, right? But you have to get a book, which gets a little bit more complicated. So it's nice enough that you can actually use paper with twine or silk or string to make a book, rather than having to necessarily use leather. It's a good alternative and it's nice to have, but we do need to get paper. And paper will only come from rice. You cannot use sugarcane to get paper anymore. I know that's how it was in the past. I know there's other things in different mod packs you use for it, but in this mod pack, you have to use rice. And 4 pieces of rice will give you 2 sheets of paper, but to get a book, you need 3 pieces of paper. So you're looking at, what, 8 pieces of rice that you have to have in order to get the ball rolling on things. Now, unfortunately, you cannot get a book from the shop. They do not have that option to buy it. I mean, if you were to find a villager and trade for it, maybe, or you might have some luck from a loot bag or something like that. But unfortunately, in our situation, I don't have one sitting around, so we have to grow some rice. We're going to sleep through the night right now, just to get that passed so we don't get any baddies spawning anywhere close by. So what I did is I came out here. I also forgot to mention I did extend our little island out here just a little bit more. I had some dirt sitting around from stuff, so I pushed out our land so we had more usable space. But I got some rice going over here. It is going to take a little bit of time, and unfortunately I don't have any bone meal to increase the progression, which is a little bit of a bummer, but we'll just let it go on its own, let it go naturally. I know you could go out in the world and try to look around and find some, but it's okay for the time being. Now, there are other things that we can start on, like getting the actual blocks for cooking for blockheads. So, we're going to jump into here. I have everything bookmarked. I already got the sink. It's pretty straightforward. You need terracotta, which you saw us get in a previous episode. You need some water, and then you do need iron for it. And this will supply you with a unlimited water source, which is so cool. You can use it in a number of different scenarios. Now that's how it has been previously. I don't know if the mod pack developers have changed that functionality yet in this mod pack. So obviously as we go, we'll test it out and see. But previously that it has been a source of unlimited water, which is really nice. Now I was cooking up some stone here for us, so that we could get the next thing, which is just the counter. So these are a good place to store your food. So I would recommend maybe getting like 2 of them up and going. Just like so. They do take chests and they do take normal stone, so keep that in mind. The next one would be the kitchen cabinet. Again, these are going to take chests, and these are the above counter ones. So we do need some more chests, so let's get those up and going here. Maybe we'll grab like 4 chests just to have them on hand. I'm gonna grab just one of these for the time being, just so that we have them, so that we can use them, and we can also just complete the quest realistically. Now we do need a cooking table, but unfortunately you need cooking for blockheads 2, which requires you to have cooking for blockheads 1 and some diamonds. So again, we're gonna have to wait in order to get that until we can get our book. So we'll put that on hold for the time being. Take these bonsais off of here. We do need a fruit basket to complete our quest as well. So I'll grab some oak wood planks here that we have laying around. I think that would work. Yep. And then we just need one of these. And then we can just go like that. And we get a nice little fruit basket. Easy peasy. The next thing on the list is a spice rack. Super easy to make. You just need one wood slab of some form or fashion. Again, pretty straightforward. You also can get a tool rack, which we need some iron nuggets for. And luckily we've been collecting a decent amount of iron nuggets just from killing different mobs. So pretty easy to get for us. Just like so. I'm going to bump some things down and around so we have them. We do want a toaster, which is going to take a little bit of time. We also want a fridge. A fridge will be definitely useful. An oven will be extremely useful, but you do need black stained glass for it, which is actually pretty interesting. I don't know if that's how it's historically been. Now you can use an ink sac for it, but we don't have any of those. I don't think we have anything that we could utilize to get that black dye that we need, which is a little bit of a bummer. We might have to just do a little bit more work. So the oven will definitely be useful because it's helpful for cooking things up. And also I wanted to mention, which I forgot to mention earlier, this is a multi-block setup. So you can place all of these down, and if you place them on this kitchen floor, at least having the kitchen floor underneath the blocks, it will link everything together. So when you go to craft something, it can pull items from the inventories of the different counter spaces that you have, or the fridge, or utilize the stove as well, which is pretty cool. It's a really cool use of everything. But unfortunately, it does cost a lot of iron to get everything up and going, especially this toaster. That toaster is very expensive on the iron side. But we could probably get it going here. We could get a toaster going. We do need a button, and then we need a bucket of lava, which luckily we have our bucket. Uh-oh. Got another baddie here, right? Are you bad? No? Oh, sick. Okay, you're chill. Thank the Lord. But we do have some lava down here that I discovered. Right down here. Found a lava pit so we can grab some of this lava and then head back upstairs and get this crafted up. Now that is the unfortunate thing about diving into certain mods, is that it kind of takes some time to get the resources that you need for all of them. In our instance right now, it really is just iron. It takes some time to get all the iron that you need to get everything up and going, which is a little bit of a bummer, because really in other mod packs it'd be a lot easier to find the materials that you need, but obviously being a SkyBlock based mod pack, it's a more of a grind to get those items that you need. And unfortunately, we don't have an automated way of doing that yet. Now, when we get into void mining, we'll have a better way of collecting those resources. But for the time being, we have to utilize what we have available to us, which is realistically just sifting for the ores that we need and then crafting them into those chunks and then smelting them into the ingots. Decently long process, I'm not gonna lie. So we can get our fridge up and going, and actually we can double it, because you can stack fridges, which is awesome. You can stack it to be too high. And then what we'll do in the meantime, those are still growing. We're gonna come down here and we're gonna get things going here. We're gonna start setting things out and just having them positioned where we want them to be. So realistically, let's put our, well, we don't have to have our sink in the middle. I'm gonna put those like that. I am going to take we have our fridge there, then we have our sink. I'm gonna put our sink right there. I'm going to put our fridge, I want to put our fridge here or in the corner. I might put our fridge in the corner, put our oven over there, or maybe I'll put our fridge right there. I feel like our fridge would be fine there. We could always put something else over there if we wanted to. We'll have our cooking station here, and then our oven on the end there. I think that would be a pretty good setup. So we do have a toaster that we can place down, and then if you shift and right click, you can place it on top of the blocks just like so. We do have our cabinet, which we can put above. I'll put that right there. It does look pretty cool. It ties in the whole aesthetic of it, which is cool, and it does have storage. All of these have storage, like I said, and the fridge, which is meant to hold cold foods, obviously, because it's a fridge. Now we do have a fruit basket. We can put this bad boy right there for the time being. And then what else do we have here? We have our spice rack, and then we have our tool rack. So our tool rack we could put right there, right above where our crafting is going to be. And then finally our spice rack, which maybe we'll put our spice rack over here for the time being, and then we'll get another kitchen counter going, which shouldn't be too hard to do. Let's see, I think we have everything for it. That we do, just like so, and then we'll place it like that. Pretty cool, pretty easy to do. And actually, now I'm thinking about it, why don't we move this from here over to there? I think that's a nice spot for it. And then we're just missing a few pieces, which really we need our book for. We really need to get that book up and going. And all we're waiting on right now is some rice. It's just taken its dandy old time growing. So with that being said, guys, let me collect a few more resources. And then when we come back, hopefully we'll be at a good place where we can just get everything set in stone and everything set up for cooking for blockheads. Alright guys, so I got pretty much everything together and I actually crafted up some other components and already placed them down, so I'll show you that in a minute. But I got our book up and going. I actually went out, I was able to find a couple more rice plants scattered throughout the island, so I collected resources from those and then from our own ones as well. So we got our cooking for blockheads manual here, which is pretty cool. You can open it up and it'll show you based on what you have in your hand and what is around you, what you can make, which is pretty cool. You can make some apple juice and it'll pull up the recipe for you. You do need a juicer for that. You can make applesauce, you need a pot for it. And then a cooked apple, you need to cook it up obviously. And then fruit salad because of that. And that's all because we just have apples in our inventory. It gets really cool once we're able to get down there and actually see what more we can be able to craft with different food materials, which is pretty cool. So we're gonna grab some of that. I'm gonna stick this away maybe somewhere. We're gonna get rid of that. I did find a black dye as well. I found black poppies, I believe it was, over on that island over there. And you can just turn those into black dye, which is pretty nice to have. It's a nice option to have. We do need 2 crafting tables. And then we should be able to get our second tier, just like so. And then finally, we can get our cooking table. Perfect. So I'll come down here, I'll show you guys what we got. I did get the floor going as well, so that we can have everything together. So as you can see, we have the kitchen floor down. And we can place that just like so, and it kind of ties everything together. It looks really, really nice. So let me show you really quickly how I did the floor. If you go over to kitchen floor, your best bet is to do this one down here using quartz and coal. There is an option with concrete, but concrete can kind of be tricky. You do have to get the powder with water in a stone barrel and kind of do it that way. We're about to get attacked. I hear him. I hear a frog. Where's he at? These frogs have been bothering me so hardcore on this island, and it has not been fun. He's probably going to jump at us at some point. Where's he at? There he is. This guy. These guys suck. They hit you and they poison you. And they have decent health too. They hit pretty hard and they have decent health, which is probably one of the most annoying things. I think we can take them out. I don't know. We're getting kind of beat up kind of hard here. There we go. Okay. We got them taken out. But yeah, those guys will always spawn. I don't know how to get rid of them, but they are the worst enemy that I've encountered thus far, besides having to deal with the dirt slimes. But anywho, that's beside the point. So like I was saying, on the kitchen flooring, yeah, getting into concrete can be kind of interesting because, I mean, you just need different materials. It's a lot less like high material intensive than, let's say, you know, the quartz or the coal, because obviously those are a little bit harder to come by over time. But it does take a little bit more to get to this point where you have concrete, but you can do it that way. I personally just did it this way with quartz and coal, because this is 8 pieces of quartz, because a quartz block is only in a 2x2 pattern, and then 18 pieces of coal, and it gives you 12 compared to 4. So I think it's worth it. I have them all along the bottom there, and we're all set up here. So I am a little bit curious though. We pull this open and it gives us all of our possibilities once again, which is pretty nice. And this is basing it off of what we have on our inventory and what is possible with all of the connected devices as well, and the connected inventories. So it's kind of cool. We have a little bit more because of having now beans on our inventory, as well as our cooked fish and so on and so forth. Now I'm curious, if we put our apples up here, does it still take it into account? It does. Okay, so even up there, it's still taking it into account that we could do a cooked apple. Now these are pretty cool. So if we take a peek at the cooking oven over here, you can hook it up to be a part of your RF network or your power network, using some of these units here. So you have a heating unit for the oven, and then an ice unit and a preservation chamber for your fridge, because you can hook both of them up to power. Now the oven is obviously the better one to have hooked up to power because it acts like a furnace, obviously. But you don't have to do that. You can just put in normal fuel, like a wood of some kind. And then if we come over here, we can actually, I think if you double click, it'll actually do it for you. Yep, so, or maybe you just single click and it'll cook it up for you. Obviously you need to have enough fuel in here, enough power to have them cooked up. But just like that, we're all set. We're all cooked up, and then what we could do is we could even put our cooked apples in there. We could put our fruit in there in general. And then if we come into here, it should still work. Like if we put our cooked fish in there and our steak in there, we should still be able to pull them out. Yes, that's correct. We can still pull them out from in there. Now there's a whole slew of different items that you can use to make this food from Pam's Harvest Craft, like the cutting board. I showed you guys the juicer earlier as well. So getting all of those tools up and going will be very, very useful. So if we go to Pam's, I think that's how it is, right? Or maybe just Pam, if I do Pam, at Pam. You know, the spray, the Pam spray. But you can see all the different food variants that are capable from this mod pack, which is insane. Like Pam's Harvest Craft is so cool. It offers you so many different possibilities for food crafting, which just makes it turns a new leaf on the idea around food within Minecraft. So if we look through here, we should be able to find the tools that we need. So if I did that, yeah, there you go. There's the juicer right there. And it's pretty easy to cook up. You just need stone and then a stone pressure plate, and you can get those. And similarly with everything else, you can also do, you can hold R over these. You can tap R and it'll bring up the recipe for you. So the cutting board is actually pretty easy to make as well. And then obviously you can always bookmark it by hitting A. A will always be a good source for you to utilize for holding on to recipes that you may need to craft down the line. Like I said, they get stored over here on the left-hand side of your inventory when you bookmark them. Now we did complete our quest for cooking for Blockheads, so getting the cooking table and everything up and going. I had bookmarked all of these items. That's how I knew everything that we needed. So basically it's saying let's make a kitchen to make everyone's life easier. The kitchen is very useful multi-block that makes any food making easier, including Pam's Harvest Craft. So that's awesome. We get a little bit of money and then an uncommon crate. And then even up here, they talk on those different units that you can put in there, the preservation unit, the heating unit, and the ice unit. So those will talk you through the different usefulnesses of those, as well as giving you a little bit of money when you do complete them, which is awesome. So let's open this uncommon crate and see what we got. We got an ore box. That's interesting. Right click to use. Oh, cool. We got some iron ore. That's actually pretty useful, and we could use our grindstone to grind that up to then get more output for it. So we can stick those in here. I haven't really been doing the most cost-effective resource production just because, you know, I'm trying to get things done in a timely manner. There definitely are time-consuming ways to double your ores and really get the most out of everything. It does look like we have this chick who's stuck in there. She cannot get out, which is kind of funny that she got herself stuck in there. I'm trying not to hit any of our cows while we take her out. There we go. I think we didn't get too close. Yeah, cool. So let's grab our stuff and then we can just hop out of there like so. So nothing too fancy. But anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. So we have a great way of getting food up and going in our kitchen, which is really, really cool. I'm happy to get that going so that we can gather more food resources and then easily be able to turn them into different crafted food, because the different crafted food will offer a better saturation than just eating it plain. Now, the one thing I was curious with, if there is a sandwich table in here. I don't think that there is. I'm trying to quickly look through things. Yeah, it doesn't look like there is. In MC Eternal, there was a sandwich table, which was really awesome, a sandwich station, which was really awesome. but unfortunately in this mod pack it's not there, which is no biggie. But yeah, if you eat food items on their own, they don't offer you as much saturation as if you were to cook them into a meal of some kind, which is our ultimate goal with getting our kitchen up and going. So I think it was ultimately a good episode. Let's see how our bonsai hopper is doing. So look at this. After just probably about 40 minutes, maybe even less than that, we've already almost got a stack of wood, half stack of sticks, and then some saplings and leaves. And I didn't even need to do anything. Again, that's what you need to take into consideration. You don't have to monitor this. You just get it up and going and it does its own thing, which is the best. So maybe we will get some more of those going. And we do have our kitchen going. So guys, with that being said, we're going to wrap up the episode. We're already sitting at 30 minutes. When we come back next time, I already know what we're going to head into. We're going to get into our suggested goal here, which is the void miner, so that we can get some better resource collection up and going. And starting to get into that path, we're going to have to get some of this litherite crystal going, which we need some lime dyes, some green dyes, some diamonds, and then some flint. Now luckily we have most of that. We're just gonna have to focus on some of the green stuff really. And but that shouldn't be too hard for us to do. But that will be in the next episode, like I said. So with that being said, then, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you did, feel free to leave a like down below, or better yet, leave me a comment. I love reading through all of your comments. And yeah, I'm very, very happy that you know, some of you have found very good usefulness from my series. I really only put it out just to kind of have fun with it, and a lot of you have commented saying that you started off in this series, and you started off in this mod pack, and this series has really helped you get your feet in the water on how to approach the mod pack. So I'm really humbled by your guys' thanks, and I really appreciate all the views that you've kind of been sending my way around that. So anyway, with that being said, if you are new to the channel, you want to follow along with the series, hit the subscribe button and bell notification, and I'll let you know every single time a new episode is posted to the channel. I do stream over on Twitch. I have that link in the description, along with my Discord link. That'll let you know if anything changes with my Twitch streaming schedule or with any episodes that are being posted. But other than that, guys, thank you for sticking through to the end. I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks. Bye.